All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SA Boxing Talk, formerly 10 years ago. Hot Boxing Talk.
Hot Boxing Talk, 10 years ago. Like a big milestone for you. Killing it online for the last 10 years and just big contribution to South African boxing. Take my hat off to you, and it just keeps growing and growing.
Thank you so much. And also this month, 25 years of Hot Box Gym. That's a major milestone.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's just like, I don't know where it's gone. I don't know where 25 years have gone. Like, it's just crazy. Like all the highs and the lows and the success and the champions and, you know, the upsets and unfortunately the losses as well, because obviously I like try and win them all. I want to win them all, but you know, it's called sport. It's called sport, not winning. So
you dare to be great, right?
Dare to be great. But yeah, I mean, just a big milestone for you, big milestone for Hot Box.
Yeah.
Obviously the last, I'd say 7 years, no doubt management's dominated my life, especially in the sport. So yeah, it's just good to be hanging out with you, and 10 years, bro.
And I think I've seen like the greater portion of your career, like your transition over the last 10 years as well, has been massive.
Yeah. I mean, so I suppose you're going to ask me questions. I'm going to ask you questions.
Yeah, let's do that.
So I bet we're going to be brutally honest.
Yes. Let's be brutally honest.
Okay, your craziest interview and who was it and why? You got a name and shame.
Okay, so my craziest...
And this is not indicative of you disliking the person.
No.
Or so like, let's just make that clear. Like, if you name and shame, it's not because you're not going to interview the guy again or the girl again or...
No, okay, so there's been a few. There was once, and I couldn't, like, you know when you're holding your laughter in, there was once where this guy called Lumbani Lano from Malawi, he was fighting Lebo Masitoa, and he was like, I'm a maniac and I'll manhandle you, and I almost died inside. Like, he's like, I'm a maniac and I'll manhandle you. Like, it's just like the craziest things that people can say. And then also like every interview with Jackson Chauke as well. Like, he's just proper value, like, you know.
Okay, that's cool.
And there's been a few where I thought people were delusional, but I can't mention that.
No, name and shame, bro.
Name and shame. I can't.
Yeah, some like some guys are just like whack, and I suppose you got to be neutral in your approach when you ask the question, because you're just asking the question.
Yeah.
You know, whether you have your opinion, you're not verbalizing your opinion. It's like internally, or you'll obviously tell me, and we'll bitch and moan to each other about it.
So there's been like, I like the brutally honest interviews. Like when I ask someone a question and they don't just, you know, they say, they try to hide with their questions, like they be so protective. Like when you're brutally honest, more often than not you get the opportunity that you ask for, you know, and what you
and
put
you
out
also
there.
get more credibility, don't you? Like, the more honest and credible you are in your answers and stuff when you ask someone.
I mean, have you ever said something in an interview that you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or, you know, do you ever think back to that?
In the last 7 years, no. I've always been brutally honest, and I think that's probably one of the reasons for my success in the sport, is that, like, I tell it like it is, and I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and I've often said the sport's not for everyone, and it's not, you know, but, like, whether you like, hate, or respect what I'm saying, like, don't ask me the question if you don't want the honest truth.
Right, and then you also feel like you've landed a lot of, like, I'd say clients, but they're also like friends and family that come to your gym because of the brutal honesty, and what you can provide is not like a lie.
Yeah, it's not easy, like, telling someone, like, if they feel that, you know, they won the fight, you know, like, effectively we work for boxing, we work for the fighters. Without the fighters, we don't have jobs. We wouldn't actually be doing this. But also you gotta be a realist, and I think unfortunately the sport is very delusional at times. The sad part about the sport is that fighters actually don't know when to quit, and they need good people around them to pull them back and say, look, it's time, you know, you've taken a lot of punishment, or I don't see a future for you in the sport, or you've had a hard luck career. And I see a lot more of that happening than people just kind of, you know, bullshitting their fighters. And you got to be, I think the sport it's harsh, but it's also very, very realistic. And unfortunately, the people around the sport, including some of the trainers and the managers, are a bit delusional.
Yeah, a little bit of delusion sometimes is entertainment as well. But I know what you mean. Like, you're putting the fighters at risk as well.
Well, I think that's the biggest factor to consider in the sport, is that, you know, the violent nature of boxing. I wrote a piece a couple of weeks ago where I was just fainting, and I I was just like taking a dig at all of us, all of us involved in the sport.
Because you mentioned one of your own mistakes as well in that same article. I mean, like everyone's made a mistake in their career.
No, I'm going to make more mistakes. I'm human. But when it comes to accountability in the sport, I think that's what's seriously lacking, not just in South Africa, but I think globally, where people hide behind the sport. Oh yeah, it's a hard sport, or we know the risks, but also we've got to be accountable. You can't let a fighter take too much punishment. You can't let a fighter carry on longer than he or she should. And those are always factors to consider in the sport, and it's really, really difficult. It's a hard decision to make, but it goes back to the initial point of this point that you're raising about being honest. And I think that's the harsh reality, is that we've got to be more honest in the sport, I think.
And I mean, most recently with Phumelela, you threw in the towel as well, which was the right time for him, because there was no point going another 2 rounds there.
No, he was being lit up. He was behind on points. He started reacting differently to the punches. We were behind, and it was a game effort. He tried. Just, like we were talking off camera earlier, someone said to me, what happened with Phumelela? I said, I've got a great excuse. He goes, well, what's the excuse? I said, we just lost a better fighter.
I mean, yeah, Bam is like a generational talent. Let's put it that way. He's of this era. Could be like the Pacquiao's, that sort of type of level.
Yeah.
Like the Miguel Cotto's, like, realistically, he's up there with some of the best in this generation.
We were discussing it in the gym yesterday. I think he's definitely like top 5 pound for pound. He has to be. There's a debate now on who's number 1, if it's Usyk or is it Noe.
Probably Usyk, right?
I agree with Usyk.
Yeah.
I think he's just phenomenal. But I think Monster, because he's drawback power.
If Monster beats Nakatani, like if that fight ever materializes and he beats Nakatani.
That's what we're all hoping for. That's like probably the greatest Japanese fight in boxing history if it comes off.
Yeah, that's
if he beats Nakatani and the fight happens, then probably. But and is Usyk going to be around for that long?
So do you foresee Usyk fighting Parker and then calling it a day? Because Itoma's around the corner, and that could spoil his legacy. No?
Yeah, and I think Itoma could be the real deal, bro. Like, I think he's phenomenal. Good timing, quick hands.
It's like you want to avoid him, like right now. No one willingly will step into him in a non-title fight, right?
No, but he's phenomenal. I thought he would take White out, but I didn't think it would be in the first round, and that
brutal.
Yeah, that brutal.
Let's talk about world level. You've just signed Phumelela Shabalala, and he's on the cusp of an IBF eliminator. Now, in fact, you've signed it already, right? So, how did that deal come together? And he obviously wasn't satisfied with his current situation.
Yeah, I mean, he was very frustrated that there was postponements and a couple of cancellations or whatever the situation was. There was no direction. I was told that my partner, Hufusi Malinga, was trying to get hold of the promoter. He wasn't taking his calls, wasn't responding to the calls. And then only, obviously, towards the end, when he basically saw on social media that the kid's defected to us, that started calling him and stuff. So he was frustrated. He was obviously kind of kept in the dark. And now, he signed with us, and then within 48 hours, we got the order accepted. IBF eliminates for the number 1 position. Please God, he wins that, and then he fights for the world title. So, yeah, very exciting for him. I'm very happy for him too.
And obviously, when you're signing talent now, I mean, what's the thing that caught your eye with him?
Look, Vusi and I have been speaking for a couple of weeks, and you know what it is, Hayden? Like, guys reach out to me, and they want me to help them, and I'm always willing to help. And I just saw a position where a kid needed and deserved a big fight, and that's pretty much what I promised him, and I delivered that.
100%, and it's very similar to Phumelela Kafu, who joined you, and a few weeks later you announced a WBO world title shot. He managed to beat Kosei Tanaka, who not many people gave him a chance to do. I mean, it's like a similar type of situation.
Yes, I mean, like sometimes in life you got to roll the dice, and I think in the fight game you got to roll the dice as well. It's like if you don't take the risk, you'll never know what the reward is, or the reward's there, but you never take the risk, you'll never reap the reward. And I think that's what we did with Phumelela. And people can question my my business savvy and my logical sense in taking the Bam fight, but there was just too much opportunity on the table for us to turn it down. So, I did stop the fight at the right time. He lives to fight another day. He's fit and he's healthy. The story now is quite famous. He bought his mother the house in Melinda. We were there, Larry and I, and it's just a great success story. So, and I said this on a radio interview the other day. I was like, well, success isn't always measured in winning.
Yeah.
He lost to Bam, but he's still a success.
He wins in life.
So he wins in life. So just very proud of that move from him as well, because he made a commitment to Larry, and I was like, guys, I promise you I'm going to buy my mother a house. So there's that risk reward factor in boxing that you always got to take. The only problem is that you got to know if the fight is not in your grasp, and if it's not and your fight is taking punishment, stop it.
So then I got to ask, obviously he's coming off a massive fight. Do you bring him back this year, next year? What's the plan?
I don't know yet. Also need to know what weight he's going to fight at.
Really? Okay.
He might move up to 118. I'm not sure yet. Right now he's still enjoying the fruits of his labor.
I see the stories on WhatsApp with the food and everything.
Yeah,
so maybe...
he loves his food, so like you and I. So
yeah, 100%. This doesn't grow
okay,
overnight.
so no, I'm going to throw a question back to you.
Yeah,
so
let's do it.
Where have you ever been behind the camera and you're doing an interview and you're really losing your shit? Like, you're really losing your temper because this is absolute bullshit.
Oh, okay. So when people start calling out boxers that are well outside of their realm of attaining a fight. Like, for example, a guy that's like 2-3-0 starting to call out a guy with 16 fights. I'm like, you're not an Olympian, you're not a big amateur star. Where do you get the right to even say that name? It does get me a bit upset because I'm like, realistically, how can I promote that on my channel? People are going to look at it like it's one of those like gimmick article pages,
What's the craziest thing someone's ever said to you in an interview that that's bullshit? Come now, don't be shy.
No, I'm trying to think now. So it's something that they said that I just know is like...
Yeah. Wasn't me, was it?
Could have been, no, I'm joking. Sure, that's a difficult... I don't actually know. I don't know. Like bullshit, like a bullshit answer. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of something.
So, it's fair to say that now you dreamed, aspire to do what you're doing now. You're now doing commentary. You actually got your degree in journalism, which a lot of people don't actually know.
Yes.
They just thought you're a young guy behind a camera, actually, like doing interviews and stuff. So, where are you placed now in your career, do you think, in terms of your dream and where you want to be and where you want to go?
Sure. I feel like when I first started commentating, it was like a dream, but your sort of goalposts shift all the time because I enjoy commentating and I really like all the local stuff has been great. And I think a lot of people, that's a huge dream, and that was a huge dream of mine. I would love to be international. I think anyone would want to just grow from where they are. Like with your management company, you grew international. I think that would be my next step. I would love to be working on like a DAZN. Obviously ESPN's called it a day with international boxing, but a platform like that, to jump on there and display what I can do. I believe I can mix it up. I am a bit young still, but because commentators usually do come in their 40s and so forth, internationally I'm talking about, but that would be a dream for me. But I know that the landscape is changing all the time. I see like a guy like Parsons, he's like 22, 21 years old, and he's busy presenting big shows for Matchroom. It's doable. These things are achievable. And
he's also good at what he does. Like we've seen the rise of quality. Parsons, and Question for you. So you've like interviewed some big guys like Eddie Hearn. That was a great interview. I watched that. Who was your biggest interview and why?
So at the time, before Eddie Hearn, because I still think Eddie Hearn's like my gold standard. After that, you can't really. Sonny Edwards was a good one. Obviously, he wasn't a world champion at the time when I interviewed him, but unfortunately he beat Maruti to become a world champion that night. I've missed a few good interviews as well. Like I would have liked to interview Amir Khan when we were in Saudi. Yourself, obviously, as well, included in that. But we did like a million interviews, Best
Nathan's friend.
That's it. It's Nathan's friend.
Okay. Groupie as well,
Number one, numero uno. Like in terms of fame or
just generally? Tell everyone the story about the Samuel Peter interview in Saudi.
Oh, Samuel Peter. Yes. So we went downstairs because I saw him in the elevator, I think.
Yeah,
and we
former WBC heavyweight champion of the world.
Damn, and that was such a big one for me at the time. I was nervous. I didn't have the equipment like I have now as well, so I was using like that lapel. Do you remember that one? And for some reason the lapel didn't work that day, so I had to use the audio on the camera, and it sounded absolutely terrible, the audio.
Yeah, and I was sharing a room and you were like heartbroken.
And the man didn't
And
reshare
then the
it.
next morning you woke up and you were like, I know how to fix this.
And we made it work, eh?
Yeah, we made it work.
You know, I don't know, like when we're at that level, like it's a bit different because internationally they don't know who you are, they're not familiar with you, like they're familiar with like the IFLs, the boxing socials, all of those type of things, but not really with SA Boxing Talk. So that at that stage I think I had like a couple thousand subscribers. We've grown it to over 10 now, which is a phenomenal achievement. So I think it's more recognized.
Yeah, 2000 back then too. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I remember actually, now that I think about it, we created a history. We were the first South Africans to participate in Saudi.
That's correct, and win in Saudi as well. So that's like we won it on the first go. Like not a lot of people do that. And Lorato Glamini was an underdog in that.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to win that fight. Tell everyone how upset you were with the air ticket change. We got bumped off. We got bumped off the fight card.
I have regrets now because it was all for nothing, right? I mean, like, irrespective, you know, at the time I was.
I think that's the worst I've ever seen you lose your temper.
But we got to meet Carl Frutch on the way back, so that made it all better. Yeah. I mean, they're not the real Carl Frutch, but yeah, on Egypt Airlines.
Yeah, it was a great. That was probably one of the best.
That was one of the best trips because I remember the. That was one of the best trips. Yeah. I think that, like, you know, when we go overseas together, like, there's always so much laughs. It's the funniest.
Yeah.
Like, one of the funniest times. Like half of the time, like it's just a joke. Like we just laugh.
Yeah. And Bernie Pellman's a big character, part of the team.
Yeah. Geez, we all have a good time there.
You guys were missed in America. Yeah. So pretty about the visa.
No, but you know, like with America, obviously, like. That's still a dream of mine to go there. I've been there before as working, but like for boxing, I know that it's on a different scale.
It's on a different scale. I still think the best place is Japan. Japan, nothing beats Japan.
I think like the nice part about America is it like sort of opens up English speaking people so that we can interview them and get their side of the story. And I think the most famous boxers in the world probably come from the US, like as a whole. I'm not talking about like individuals, because you do get like monsters in Japan who are university recognized, but I think as a whole, like look at like Terence Crawford, Canelo, who's a Mexican but he's American as well. Like he's converted there because he trains in America and stuff.
And his English is a bit better these days.
I love it when he started speaking English and he started swearing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Payday, and it's like it's some of the best content.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you go to America, I mean, you were in Vegas, you were in Dallas as well. What did you find the best city was?
Well, I didn't like Vegas. I've never liked Vegas. I've been there before, and quite honestly, and I hope he actually watches this podcast. It's a podcast, kind of a podcast.
Yeah, we can call it an outdoor podcast.
What made America for me was DJ Krill. Like,
okay.
I love that kid. He's part of my family. He drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
But just an amazing human being, and he really settled us, made us feel welcome.
You guys really had a good time, it looked like, there with him.
Yeah, with him. He's just a very special human being.
Didn't he also make Mexico with Heki like a lot easier as well?
A lot easier. In fact, like, he's just also one of the key players. When you go into like fight week, TJ Krill's the kind of kid you want to have around. He's just feel good. He's an I don't want to say ex-fighter, he's still fighting, but he's ex-world champion. He knows the environment, he knows what it's like cutting weights, and he's definitely a team player.
I mean, what's he going to do now? I mean, do you know anything about his next move?
Look, I think right now he needs to shed a few pounds. It's always the same story, DJ. And I think it's kind of up to him to see where he wants to go with his career and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Would you, I mean, I doubt he ever comes back to South Africa, but obviously you'd manage him again.
TJ's part of my family, so like there's no bad vibes. I love him to bits. I just obviously I think all the fighters that I associate myself with, past, future, and present, I just want the best for them.
And I saw on social media as well, it looks like Joshua Feldman's being looked after by DJ as well, right?
Yes, for sure. Duron's unfortunately broken his hand. He's got 2 pins in it now. Yeah. So they must go and live their dream, you know, and they've got my support, and I love them to bits, and I'm always here for them. But, you know, they have that American dream, they must go and live it. And if it doesn't work out, South Africa's their home. So you gotta fulfill those goals and dreams, so go for it.
What's your advice, though, for young fighters? I'm not talking talking about these guys specifically, just as a general. I mean, living in South Africa, cost of living is quite low. So, I mean, you can always get to America, but, you know.
I think the environment in America is hard. I think also the visa situation's very tricky at the moment. To get your green card, you need some serious money behind you. To get your P1, you need some serious money, and you need obviously the documentation, work and stuff to get you in that position. I still think the base in South Africa and the platforms that we have here, and I think it's getting better with streaming. I think streaming is the way forward.
Yeah.
I've always said that to you. I've said that to you for the last 5 years in interviews. I think building a profile here in South Africa and just keeping it real to the sports. I think it's probably a lot easier in South Africa than it is abroad, because it's such a small concentrated market here in South Africa. So, but again, I also do think that you need a strong manager to work for you, to work for the athletes.
Do you think that, okay, you mentioned streaming, like Discover Sports has just come on board with Boxing
I was
Five
at the launch, so I was very impressed with those guys. They just did our last event. You were very impressed with the production.
They've got a lot of the old ESPN Africa guys there as well, which is really helpful.
So I think that, and I also think if you look at the trends and everything, you revert back to America. Like this year, they did a study in June of this year that streaming overtook mainstream broadcasting. And I think if that's an indication of where times are moving and how things are moving, I think we're in a great position for boxing.
But I mean, like myself in a personal capacity, I don't have TV anymore. I only have streaming.
Yeah, so we only have DSTV at home because of my kids. But I mean,
do you use that as a streaming platform?
No, I don't. Okay. The only time I ever watch it is for
sports, right?
For the Olympics. That's once every 4 years, maybe boxing occasionally. But everything's off my phone. I mean, the device now and the way forward, like you look at young generation, even older guys, everything's just off their smartphones. Like literally watching games, they sit in a coffee shop with their AirPods in and they want content. We were discussing it off camera, like my son's age 19, he's just flicking. Guys are just flicking. Whether it's good for your brain or not, that's not the point. Guys want instantaneous gratification, and that comes on the form of just flicking Instagram, TikTok, Twitter to a certain degree, Facebook. And again, I think the biggest thing is, and I tell my fighters this, you got to market yourself. And I think each one of us has got a smartphone. We are editors and publishers. And we can control our own profiles, if that makes sense.
So in your opinion, then, content is just key when it comes to promoting the sport?
Good, bad, or ugly. We're in Monte Carlo. I think you and I were walking and we saw Conor Ben doing 10 seconds of shadowboxing and someone caught them on clip and then played it.
Yeah.
And whether we thought it was ridiculous or not, it was still content. And guys still tuned in and they're still watching it. So to answer your question, I think content is key to promote anything in life at the moment, and that's because of your smartphone.
And I think that you can film anything anywhere, and obviously when it comes to like doing interviews like this, you don't even know who it reaches and that type of thing. So like conducting interviews and creating media, whether or not you think it's relevant, is actually a really important tool.
It is, and it's also marketing. Like I was giving you an example. Like 20 years ago, you probably place an advert in a magazine. Today, would you do that? No, because of social media.
You can just do it yourself.
You can do it yourself, and it's a free marketing tool. And like you would, I don't want to diminish anyone who's in that space, but you would rather want to do it on social media because of the reach, right? So that's kind of where I see things going, particularly here in South Africa. Maybe I'm wrong. I think there's a place for everything, I suppose. But for me, it's just about social media.
Save the environments as well, right?
Save the environment as well. Bro, we have to get going. We can talk here for hours.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to ask?
No, just congratulations to you, bro. Like, big respect, 10 years. Like, I've literally seen you as this young student coming in to this, like, man now with a beard and,
I didn't have the beard.
And you're a lot thinner then, but then you were cutting to make 63.
That's why I cut the camera angle from chest up.
Oh, okay. No, you're not looking bad, bro.
Thanks.
Better than your honeymoon. You've dropped a bit,
No, I was having a good time, I was having a good time.
Enjoy my best.
Thank you very much, my best. And,
Viva, bro.
Congratulations on 25 years on Hotbox.
25 years and still counting.